or give us a call at 365-6111.
Certain eligibility and age restrictions apply. Whitman of the World Life Insurance Society, Omaha, Nebraska.
Fortner Gas is a full-service propane company offering services in western Kentucky. You'll find offices located in Princeton and Cadiz. They're your local and family-owned propane supplier. Browse their website and discover the many services and products available to you at Fortner Gas. You can shop in person or online, and they can answer any and all questions in person or on the phone. If they are already your propane supplier, they say thank you. If not, they'd love to be. Contact Fortner Gas Company, a family tradition of service since 1951.
KFC Princeton is offering their famous fried chicken and all the fixins. Just order through the drive-thru like you always do. The dining room is closed, but don't go hungry. Call KFC today at 270-365-9988. Your local KFC is located on the Marion Road in Princeton, offering carry-out service only. Customers, including truckers, are welcome and can come in and pick up carry-out orders. KFC, finger licking good, but be sure to wash your hands first.
You Ride in Princeton just might buy your vehicle. They are always looking for quality inventory. So if you would like to sell yours, talk to the nice folks at You Ride. Whether you're looking to buy or sell, You Ride is here. They are hometown proud and here to deliver the same great customer service they always have. Stop by or call for an appointment with one of their sales specialists. Call 270-365-3018. On-the-lot financing is available. You can even apply online at YouRideSales.com. You Ride on the Marion Road in Princeton. Hometown proud.
The WPKY Saturday Morning Quarterback Show is on the air on 1580, 103.3 WPKY, and WPKYOnline.com. Time to take a look back at last night's Caldwell game. Here's your host, Todd Griffin.
An unscheduled off night for the Tigers last night, so no game to talk about, but still coaches Will Barnes and Jeff Riley in the studio with us this morning, and we continue on with Saturday Morning Quarterback during the off week. And first of all, Will, kind of weird that we didn't have a game last night. What did you guys kind of do in practice this week to get ready for, I guess, Mayfield next week?
We found out Monday afternoon Ballard wasn't going to be able to play, so really, trying to get ready for a game, if you're going to try to find a replacement, nobody wants to come to you, so you're automatically on the road, which we were going to be anyway. But you also don't want to wait until Wednesday or Thursday to try to get a game. So the Monday night, Tuesday was trying to find a game. Talked with a couple of people, but just with the way our schedule's falling and playing Mayfield next week, we didn't feel like playing on Saturday was a very good option for us. And travel, we talked to Paintsville. It's just not very feasible to go 5.5 hours away. And it's too short to try to find the time to try to find somewhere halfway to play. So that was like Monday, Tuesday. Monday, watch film, got out for a little bit, just in helmet, normal Monday practice for us. And then Tuesday ended up sending them home because of the weather. And Wednesday, Thursday got out. Thursday had kind of like a little simulated game with special teams, and really a good chunk of that it wasn't really a scrimmage, but a good chunk of that part of practice was getting the JV guys probably 15, 20 plays, just 11 on 11, which was good for them. They didn't get to play last Monday, so that's kind of how our week went. Gave them off yesterday.
Well, and football is a little different from other sports, and it's difficult to find a replacement opponent. For first, the dates have to match up, and then the other team has to be needing a game. You can only play 10 games during the regular season, so that kind of makes it a challenge to add somebody, especially late in the game like that.
Yeah, and a lot of people started district games last night, so, those games are not going to get canceled nearly as much as just a normal non-district game. So that's another thing we kind of ran into. And, a lot of people kind of in the center of the state, have a lot of teams a couple of hours away. For us, it's not not really
Right.
a deal. I don't, Tennessee and Indiana, and I'm not sure about Illinois. I talked to a couple of ADs there, and they just said, we're not having a lot of COVID cancellations, period. So, that's the other thing you kind of look at too.
Well, two teams that played each other last night were Paintsville and Garrett County, and those were two names we kind of heard thrown out there when we were looking for somebody.
Yeah, I don't know if I helped make that game or not, but Garrett County sent me an email Wednesday, and trying to get to Garrett County on 2 days, notice. Was not going to work, but I said, hey, Paintsville's looking for a game. That's a couple. I think it's 2.5 hours there, and later that afternoon I saw that they scheduled, so I think they're playing tonight. So we've actually talked to Paintsville the last 2 years, trying to get games, but again, when you're trying to play, I'd love to play them because they've got a good team, but it's not really very smart. That's like a 10-hour drive. I was talking to a buddy of mine. He said, well, you might as well go down to Atlanta and play. You could probably get the drive times about the same.
I was going to say it's probably easier to get to St. Louis or Cincinnati than it is Paintsville.
Yeah, so like I said, it's very hard to make those types of games work. If you got somebody local, it's a lot easier, somebody you're familiar with. You don't have to get, if we go to even, like E-Town, you're going to have to feed the kids at least once, maybe twice. You look at, we were going to go to Glasgow last year. We were going to feed the kids twice. So there's a lot of logistical things when you're going that far away that's hard to put together in a day or two.
Yeah, Jeff, is it possible to play somebody like, could we have played Paintsville and met them in the middle someplace, maybe, and played them over at Lindsey Wilson College or something like that?
Yeah, it's possible. I think people do that, but like Coach Barnes said, there's a lot of logistics, and so you always got to, especially when you add that neutral site, you got to kind of jump through the hoops they want you to jump through too, and a lot of times there's a little extra cash involved when especially if you go play at on somebody's turf field, they want you to pony up a little bit of the gate or whatever. So yeah, you can do it, but it takes some pretty good planning.
Well, when we first ran into this situation and looked at the schedules, the most obvious solution was for Webster County to play us. Of course, we found out later they're now in COVID protocol, and they've already called off next week's game.
Oh yeah, well that's the first I'd heard of that. So that explains a little bit. So it's definitely making its rounds through Western Kentucky. Hopefully those guys can get their kids healthy and get back on the field, them and Ballard.
Now, what are the odds of finding somebody for your other open week now, which is between the Murray and Trigg games?
Yeah, we'll keep that possibility open, and again, trying to find somebody. It may be the week of. Before you can find somebody, just how those games get canceled. So we'll keep that option open, and if something works where we can make it work, we'll play that game because our kids want to play. That's why you play sports, is you want to play the game. So if we have an opportunity to play, and it's not 10 hours total drive time, we'll definitely consider it.
Well, and we had been pretty fortunate in that regard this year, especially after having so much trouble last season.
Yeah. I was afraid of we may have a couple issues here and there, but we've avoided those. And really, I knew Ballard is one of the teams that doesn't have a whole lot of numbers, and thought that just didn't work out. And, hopefully, like Coach Riley said, they get their guys healthy and get back out there on the field, because I think they're improved and got a new coach and are trying to do get those kids moving in the right direction, and you want those kids to be able to play.
Looking ahead to the October 22nd date, Madisonville is actually open that day, but unless they lose a game someplace, they've already got 10 games scheduled. So
yeah, we had. That actually happened last year. That's why we were able to get them we were going to play them, and it got canceled because they had to play a district game. But we'll see if something pops open. We'll definitely play, especially if it's local.
Well, and last year you kind of ran into one of those situations where you were talking about where on Thursday Hopkinsville opened up. So I think it was probably Thursday afternoon when you guys decided, hey, we'll try to play Saturday night.
Yeah, and that was the second week, so it's a little bit easier early in the year to play on a Saturday when you don't have a big district game coming up the next week because you're playing Saturday night and not getting to the film till Sunday, and it's kind of putting you a day behind. And doing that stuff on short notice, it's really hard from a mindset standpoint to go from playing on Monday, not playing on Tuesday, Wednesday, to, all right, now we're going to play Thursday. And it's just kind of a roller coaster of an emotion there during the week. So hopefully, if we can find something that off week, we'll make that work.
Well, and you guys were kind of on a roll. The last time out, got the upset win over Union County. And would you have liked to have played this week? You said, it's always good to play, but at the same time, it did kind of give you some extra time to maybe look ahead to the Mayfield game and get ready for that.
Yeah, well, I definitely wanted to play because, we've got some guys that need to get some varsity reps that are guys that are going to help us towards the end of this year and then definitely going into next year. And I was hoping to get those guys some more game reps. They've been practicing and played a little in the games, but was looking forward to this last night, being able to get them out there and get them some more varsity reps. So hate that because I think that would have helped those guys, which would have created some depth for the Murray game, the Mayfield game, and going into the playoffs.
Well, we heard some tales last year of maybe some teams using the COVID thing to their advantage and creatively scheduling, but Ballard Memorial, I think, legitimately was down in players, and it was going to be their homecoming, so that's a game they kind of want to get played. And over at Trigg County last night, I was over there, and Fulton County showed up with like 18 players. So it's tough when you once you get under 20, it almost becomes a safety issue trying to play.
Yeah, and I don't. People, I guess, probably have used it to avoid playing, but I don't think that Ballard is one of those people. They've last year they had a very similar deal where they had some kids quarantined, maybe the day before, and we're down to 13 or 14 and still came over and played. So if they could play, I think that they would have played. But that's credit to Fulton County and their coaches and kids because that's a tough deal, going over there with 15, 16 kids and playing a varsity game.
Now, officially, how does the Ballard Memorial game go down on the schedule? Is it a forfeit? If you pick somebody up, is it not a forfeit? Does it count as a district loss?
Coach Riley, I'll let him handle this.
Well, what we discovered is, and the Athletic Association just came out with, is if you have a COVID forfeit, you still have the opportunity to play 10 on the field games, and at the end, your COVID forfeit will factor into your district standings, and into your RPI, but it doesn't limit you in. It doesn't get replaced. So, if we had played somebody, we wouldn't have replaced that Ballard game. That Ballard game goes down as a 1-0 Caldwell win. So technically, we're 1-0 in the district, and we get whatever RPI benefit we would get out of if we had beat Ballard. 28 to 20. But we still have the opportunity to play that 10th game, and that 10th game will factor in record and RPI-wise as it all plays out. And I think that makes sense. I mean, to me, you get an opportunity to play the games, which is kind of why you're here, and they don't handcuff you to that rule. And, one of the things I know, KHSAA gets a lot of flack because sometimes when you end up on the bad side of things, it if something doesn't work out or whatever. And they're a big government organization. There's still a lot of bureaucracy and all that other stuff that goes along with that. But I really think from last year through this year, the way they've handled the COVID situation it couldn't have been any better, because they almost sometimes end up on opposite political ends with the legislature and the state government, and they're trying to play balance in the middle and giving us the flexibility to say, hey, yes, we want you to play, go find a game, and we'll kind of sort this thing out at the back end once we kind of get a look at what everybody's district standings looks like and how the RPI forfeits fall in. And, I think that's the most fair thing for us and gives us a chance to legitimately go try to play somebody else.
Well, the question I keep getting is, are we 3-2 or 4-2 now? So that's
4-2.
So at the end of the year, you could be 7-4 or 8-3 going to the playoffs. So I just keep telling people it's kind of complicated. So
yeah, that's a very good answer. It is kind of complicated.
But you see some of those COVID forfeits pop up on other schedules, and then later, if they get the game rescheduled, like in volleyball or soccer or whatever, that COVID forfeit comes back off. So sometimes the records can fluctuate a little bit.
Yeah, well, kind of back to your point earlier about, people had last year, there was some gamesmanship in when you didn't play, and you could use COVID as a reason not to play. And last year there wasn't any real consequences to it. But one of the things coming into this year, the association kind of had gotten wind from the membership that, hey, most of the members weren't happy with that. So they adjusted the rule to say, hey, all forfeiture rules apply now. So you have basically three types. You have, we're in quarantine. We need to cancel the game, so we take the loss. And in this case, Ballard was the one who initiated the cancellation. So and we tried. I talked to Ballard's AD about trying to reschedule and when they had open week and when they didn't. And he just said, there's nowhere else we can put you guys. So, we're just going to have to take the forfeit. And I said, okay. And so, we did have those conversations. So you try to get your district games in, but if you can't get it in, both teams can't agree, then whoever initiated the cancellation has to take the forfeit. But if you can, and you have a little more flexibility with volleyball and soccer, simply because, you can schedule during the week and there's not that preparation time and they're not collision sports and all that stuff. And so if you can find a way to replace it, then, the soccer people and the volleyball people I've dealt with have been very receptive about, let's scramble our schedule around and make sure we get these important games in. So, you look at Hopkins Central, we're going to end up, hopefully, knock on wood, end up getting both of our volleyball games in with them. And that's just because Coach Kortner and their coach could find a date that they both could play, and, they work it out. And, the thing that I think I've been most impressed with is being this kind of first-time AD stuff is most people want to play. Soccer-wise, we had kind of an issue. Ohio County found a spot for us, so we're going to get those. They want their kids to play, and they want your kids to play. And most of the time, they're going to try to find a way to do it. And there may be some gamesmanship if you think it benefits you down the road some, but for the most part, it's been genuine people saying, "Hey, we don't want you to take a forfeit. If we can find a spot, we want to play it." So hopefully, it'll keep that way.
Isn't that the entire object behind, or that entire intention behind high school sports? Is you want to play other schools? I mean, that's...
Yeah, you would hope so. I think sometimes people get too caught up in getting that win, and that win means more than probably sometimes what it should. But as long as, our coaches have done a good job, and the people, our opponents, have done what I felt like was a good job of trying to make things work. And sometimes you just don't have a place to put games, and you have to take those losses. And if you can find a place, you do it. So,
well, and sometimes you're just at the mercy of the schedule and everything, and it's like the Ballard Memorial game. You would like to play it, but, it's kind of out of our hands as far as what's going on with the Ballard program.
Right. Well, and we had the open date, and, I asked them if there was something they could do to kind of make it work for that date, and they had already made a change, and I think they play a district game, that weekend as well. So then it would come to, well, do you want to cancel the Trigg County game to get the Ballard game in? And Ballard would have to be willing to do something with their game at the end of the season. And, we just kind of talked, and, their AD thought, look, it was just best for us to go ahead and take the forfeit. And, you guys, and then they contacted us Monday, and they gave us as much notice as they could and just couldn't work out finding the game. So, I think this is handled pretty well. I mean, I think on both ends. So hopefully we'll find something in that open week and get our kids a chance to play. And if not, we'll just roll into the playoffs with 9 games. So.
Talking this morning with Caldwell County football coaches Will Barnes and Jeff Riley. We need to get to a timeout here on Saturday Morning Quarterback. We'll be back with more after this here on 1580, 103.3 WPKY.
It's Penny Ryle Electric's birth month. We've been serving the electric power needs of this community for 84 years now. But did you know that Penny Ryle Electric has always been member-owned? Yep, from our beginnings in 1937. And since that time, just as we do today, Penny Ryle Electric has been dedicated to providing you the best electrical service at the lowest possible rates. Penny Ryle Electric, dedicated to working toward progress and better living for you, your family, and the communities we serve.
Enjoy your favorite Mexican food at La Potosina Mexican Restaurant. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. until 9 p.m., offering up all your favorite authentic Mexican dishes for lunch and dinner. Now you pair your favorite meal with your favorite margarita. Enjoy dining in or call in for carryout. Call 270-365-3848 to place your order. They appreciate your business and are ready to serve you in a safe atmosphere. That's La Potosina Mexican Restaurant,
Princeton and Marion.
Trice Hughes has been serving Western Kentucky for over 60 years. Their experienced sales force, ASE certified techs, and all the friendly folks at Trice Hughes have worked to become your family's exclusive automotive dealer. The home team that's kept our families safe on the road for generations. From work to play and everything in between, your home team has what you need. Stop by and drive the difference. Our home team, Trice Hughes, Highway 91 North in Princeton.
Hello, this is Brad Harrelson with First Southern National Bank. There is little doubt that many are facing financial hardships in our country today. The statistics can be startling to look at, with as many as 70% of Americans having less than $1,000 saved for emergencies. While it can be easy to point fingers, the truth of the matter is that many folks lack the basic financial knowledge to avoid these pitfalls. To meet this need, First Southern has provided financial literacy resources so that the people of our communities can be better equipped to face the financial challenges life throws their way. We invite you to explore the Financial Literacy Resource Center at FSMB.net. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
How's everything taste tonight, folks?
Oh, excellent.
How was your chicken tonight?
It's excellent. Where was it raised?
As a chef, it's important to know where your food comes from. That's why we buy local and Kentucky-raised food.
We're the Settles family from Owensboro, Kentucky.
We produce poultry for families all over the state.
And we're proud of the products that we produce. If you're buying a chicken that came from our farm, you're getting an excellent quality product. Some of the best you'll find in the case.
A lot of your local restaurants feature our poultry products. We are a Kentucky Farm family.
Feeding Kentucky.
Feeding the world.
Sponsored by the Kentucky Poultry Federation and the Kentucky Agricultural Development Fund.
Your Caldwell County Volleyball is on WPKY. I'm Sue Stone, and I want to invite you to join me for all of your Caldwell County volleyball coverage.
Coming up this Tuesday, we'll have all the coverage of the Caldwell County Tigers playing Hopkins Central.
Join me, Sue Stone, for all your Caldwell County volleyball coverage on WPKY.
Caldwell Volleyball is on 1580 103.3 WPKY, your free WPKY app, and at WPKYonline.com.
More than just social media posts, coverage of your team with a stylish new look and a great new free app, which you need to download or update to now. Get the story with pictures and video like nowhere else. Download now from the crew you know as the area sports leader at yoursportsedge.com. Nowhere else. We are the champions. New app, new look, the gold standard. Yoursportsedge.com. We are the champions. Download now. Yoursportsedge.com.
When we say
classic hits,
we mean
American woman, stay away from me. All I need is a miracle. All I need is you. After midnight, we gon' lay it all hang down. After midnight.
Listen to WPKY worldwide at
WPKYonline.com. WPKY.
The Saturday Morning Quarterback Show continues on WPKY. Here's your host, Todd Griffin.
Again, no game last night for the Caldwell County Tigers. Ballard Memorial had to call that one off, so the Tigers with an unscheduled off week, but we're still rolling on the Saturday Morning Quarterback Show. Will Barnes and Jeff Riley in the studio with us, and Will, we mentioned there that you guys were kind of on a roll after the Union County win, and a couple of home games coming up, but that's a big one with Mayfield next week.
Yeah, it's obviously a really big game, and I haven't had a whole lot of success here the last few years against them, but we'll have to have a really good week of practice and play really well because they've got a good team and they're improved from last year, and it'll take a great effort.
Well, Mayfield always good, but if you look back over probably the last 15 years, I think we've had about as much success against Mayfield as anybody has.
Yeah, McCracken's got them a few times, but yeah, probably. Murray got them, won the district last year, but they haven't beat them. It's been a long time since they had beat them. So, they do a good job. And the thing about them is obviously they're talented, but they if you make a mistake, they're going to make you pay for it. And if you turn the ball over, they're going to turn it into points. So they're very opportunistic and very well coached. They're not going to make a whole lot of mistakes. If you do get them to turn the ball over, you've got to make them pay for it because they're going to do the same to you.
Looking back over the first half of the Tiger schedule, you guys opened the season with Christian County out here at Tiger Stadium. That was a 24-3 setback. But, Will, when you look back to that game, you guys have come so far since that night that it would be fun to play Christian County again at some point.
Yeah, we had some guys out for that game, which really, you hate that those kids are out. But we were playing some other kids in those spots that have got some good experience and have created a little depth on our team and have probably made us a little bit better. So, obviously, don't like to lose and all that, but that's one thing that I think you can look at that and say, hey, we were able to get some guys out there and get some varsity experience that's helped us out the last couple of weeks.
Then you guys come back the next week and have the big fourth quarter against Madisonville, end up winning that game 25-14, and you were down 14-3 going to the fourth quarter in that one.
Yeah, that was a big time win, and if you drop that and start 0-2, it's not a very good start to the year, and you don't know how you're going to respond there. So, that was a big win, and they've played some pretty good football. I know they got beat last night, but they've had a pretty decent little year too.
Hopkinsville was next up on the schedule over at the Stadium of Champions. Hoptown ended up winning that game 34-14, but that was a one-score game even well into the fourth quarter, and you guys had the ball a couple of times with a chance to draw even or maybe even take the lead, so that score is not completely indicative of how competitive that game was.
Yeah, and things weren't always pretty on either side of the ball. It's probably defensively the worst game we've played, but you look at the game, we did have some opportunities to tie it up and stay in it. Just weren't able to do that. But I think one thing this team has showed is they're going to play as hard as they possibly can the entire game, and it may not always look pretty and it may not always be flashy, but they're going to give great effort, and if you can do that and throw a little execution in there with it, you can have a pretty good football team.
Next week went down to Crittenden County for the big rivalry game there. Came back with a 9-0 win.
Yeah, and another game, defensively played pretty well. Offensively did not play well at all. But we're able to come out with a win, had some gut check moments and some tough spots, especially defensively, and responded. And, anytime you get a shutout, that's a really good night.
Did you feel like offensively down at Crittenden County you might have left a few points on the table down there?
Yeah, a few for sure. And that's kind of what we talked about before the Union County game is at some point, Union County can make you pay for those things, but Murray and Mayfield for sure can. If you get down inside the 10 and turn the ball over or don't get any points, then you're not going to win very many district games.
Then Union County last week out here at Tiger Stadium, the Braves coming in 4-0 and ranked as high as third in their class by the Associated Press. And you guys, I think, kind of shocked them a little bit, 24-13. But you were able to get on top in that game, and to me, that was the key. I felt like once they got behind a little bit, I thought Union County pressed a little bit.
Yeah, and I think we got a little physical with them early in the game and knocked the quarterback around, and that kind of set the tone for the whole night. And we played better offensively still, left some points out there, had, another fumble inside the 10, had a fumble picked up for a touchdown, had a couple of interceptions. So, wasn't a perfect game, but we were able to make some more explosive plays, and that was good to see. And if we can build on that, we'll definitely keep improving.
Next 2 weeks are at home. Mayfield next week, then Fort Campbell, and then right now finishing the season with games at Murray and at Trigg. So not really a whole lot of easy games in there. I guess Fort Campbell's probably down a little bit, but Mayfield's going to be tough, and Murray and Trigg are always competitive ball games.
Yeah, Mayfield is going to definitely be a tough game, and Fort Campbell didn't play last year, but and I think missed some games early this season. Yeah. So I'm sure they're trying to figure some things out. They've got a new coach, and Murray is. I haven't watched them a ton. I've seen them against Union County, but just kind of looking at scores and box scores, they're improving, and what they do offensively is going to give people fits, and that'll be a tough game. In Trigg County, haven't seen them at all, but just kind of looking at scores, and it looks like they're improved and playing a little bit better.
Well, Trigg County going with a spread offense this year.
Yeah, and I think they've probably got some athletes over there, and they're doing some good things. So that'll be a tough ball game for sure.
Talking this morning with Caldwell County football coaches Will Barnes and Jeff Riley. Need to get to another break here on the sideline on Saturday Morning Quarterback. I've been trying to watch myself. I keep trying to slip in the sideline report during Saturday Morning Quarterback. And back with more on Saturday Morning Quarterback after this here on 1580, 103.3 WPKY.
Planters Bank, located at 208 North Jefferson Street, is locally owned and operated with a strong, sincere focus on customer service. Planters Bank has a diverse team of seasoned professionals in Western Kentucky and Clarksville, Tennessee. Since first opening their doors, Planters Bank has made a name for itself as an energetic player in the financial services market. Stop by and talk to the friendly folks at Planters and find out about the You Choose Rewards program. Planters Bank, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
I think the word has gotten around that Raider Auction Company has 4 amazing farm equipment auctions each year, but people still say every day.
I didn't know you buy and sell equipment every day.
Well, they do. Delbert Raider has well over 40 years experience. He's well known for his knowledge of used equipment, and he buys and sells every day. Financing available. Stop by Raider Auction Company, Skyline Drive, Hopkinsville. You don't have to wait for an auction.
Your local McDonald's wants you to know that they are ready to serve you for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Dine-in or the drive-thru is always open, and they offer curbside pickup service. To avoid the wait in the drive-thru, you can download the McDonald's app and try curbside pickup. Stop in soon and enjoy breakfast, lunch, or dinner at your local McDonald's. Proud to be a part of this community. McDonald's of Princeton, proud supporters of the Caldwell County Tigers.
Get into shape and feel good at Trilogy Performance Sports. Trilogy offers a wide range of family-friendly classes as well as personal training, yoga, gymnastics, sports training, cardio, and weightlifting. Trilogy has something for everyone. Trilogy now offers an app with online workouts, live classes, nutrition tracking, and more. Search Trilogy Performance Sports in your app store. Use sign-up code 1824. For app info and more, follow them on Facebook.
The Edge Media Group is a family. We work in a goal-driven environment that rewards hard work and determination, that's elevated through focused and driven teamwork. At the Edge Media Group, our stations are integral parts of their local communities, as are each of us. We remember that even as we work to make our company stronger, we do everything we can to make our communities stronger, both on air and off. This is Heather Riley, Marketing Specialist at the Edge Media Group. You know what else I love about my job? It doesn't keep me sitting in a cubicle all day long. I get to travel to different cities to partner with businesses to help them grow. I have an opportunity every time I speak to a client to help make a positive change in their company. I talk to people for a living. It's great. And now I get paid to do what used to get me in trouble at school. And the good news is, you can be a part of our family too. We're hiring. Apply today at careers@edgemediagroup.net.
Chick-fil-A of Hopkinsville wants to salute the outstanding achievements of our area student athlete. Each week, a student athlete will be chosen based on academics, athletics, and achievements. Watch for the Chick-fil-A AAA Young Person of the Week at yoursportsedge.com. Academics, athletics, and achievements at Chick-fil-A AAA Young Person of the Week at yoursportsedge.com.
Hey, it's Tess. Join me weekday mornings from 6 to 9. We like playing games, but we love making winners. Look at you go, girl!
You did great, girl. You did wonderful.
You got it!
That's exciting.
Everything you need to know and a whole lot of fun. Start your day with us.
Right.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
What
station made you winner this morning?
WPKY.
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 WPKY in Princeton.
WPKY.
Go with the good old America, WPKY.
The Saturday Morning Quarterback Show continues on WPKY. Here's your host, Todd Griffin.
This is Saturday Morning Quarterback here on 1580, 103.3 WPKY. Again, no game last night for the Tigers. Ballard Memorial had to bow out of that contest, so the Tigers with an off week. But we're still rolling on Saturday Morning Quarterback with Will Barnes and Jeff Riley. And we've talked about missing some games last year, and, we've missed the one this year so far, and hopefully we can find a date. But one thing you really hate it for, those seniors that you have, their number of games is kind of dwindling anyway because, they're getting ready to graduate. You hate it that those kids are out there missing games their senior year.
Yeah, didn't play 7 games last year as juniors and missed one last night. And hate it for everybody, but it's, like you said, especially those guys that this is their last year. You want them to have every opportunity that they can.
Yeah, because, Jeff, we just talked about earlier about the whole point of high school sports is playing ball games.
Yeah, absolutely. Those guys, they're kids that, that are, I don't know, kids like Jordan Ladd that show up every day and work really hard and, give a lot of effort and play, and maybe they don't get the opportunity in a varsity game that they would. And then when you take games away, you take opportunities away from those kids as well. And, a kid like Jordan who just wants to be a part of a football team and has played and enjoys being around his buddies, and is just a really, really good kid who you can count on. I think last Friday night I had him counting holding penalties for me. I said, all right, Jordan, because when I say, all right, you guys need to stay near me, so if I want to put you in the game, and Jordan does that every Friday night. And so he was behind me. I said, Jordan, tonight I need you to count holding penalties. In the middle of the third quarter, he taps me on the shoulder and says, Coach, it's 5-2. And I was like, you're right, Jordan, thanks. We're not getting that holding call like they are. He's like, no, sir, we're not. Just little stuff like that. And, when you get it, you just don't get to play high school football very much. And after you're 18 years old, 99% of you don't ever get to play football again. And, we talk about, the Elijah Shaheens, who's a great athlete who goes and makes plays, and he deserves to be talked about. But Jordan Ladd needs to be talked about too, because he comes out every day and does the things we ask him to do. And he doesn't always get the reward of getting his name as being on the newspaper and stuff like that. But he's just as valuable to our team because, kids like that make up your team. And, he's a team building type kid. So it stinks that those kids don't get a chance to play as well. And, you kind of want those opportunities to keep coming for those guys. So definitely playing is definitely part of it for sure.
Yeah, some of those guys do kind of get lost at times on the roster, but, I've known kids that were on the football team for 4 years, rarely ever saw the field, but being a part of that team was a big deal to them and really helped them individually.
Yeah, well, just kind of talking about Jordan, I really will miss Jordan next year, not having him around, because he's got a good personality. He's just such a good kid, and so he's really fun to be around, and has gotten now where he'll joke around and cut up with us a little bit, and he's not going to miss anything. If you say something, he's got it down, and he's going to remind you. And like Coach Riley said, he's right in his hip pocket, and if we need him, he's out there. And he's another guy. Some guys on the team are just kind of out there to hang out, I think, sometimes. But Jordan's not that guy. He's a senior, and if we say, hey, we need a left tackle for scout team, Jordan's going to hop out there and do it. If we need somebody to come in an extra point, Jordan's going to do it. And, that says a lot about him and the type of kid he is. And we need as many kids like Jordan in our program because he makes everybody around him better. And those are the types of kids we want.
And you don't want to be opposite him in any offensive line drill that he can get his hands on you.
Yeah, ask Michael Vickery.
Yeah, or Mitchell Harrelson. Those guys. Anytime we do offensive line drills, Jordan would always find one of those guys to get his hands on.
Well, seniors overall, though, are so important because I'm a firm believer that a high school sports team, whatever sport it is only as good and is only going to get as far as its senior leadership allows it to.
Yeah, I think you're right. And, we've got a good group. And, I think Elijah Shaheen and Angel Long and, Drew Davis isn't a senior. He is a junior still. But those guys really have kind of picked up the leadership role the last couple weeks, and Logan Smiley's been that all year. Logan's not as vocal as Elijah is, but all you got to do is watch him practice, watch him play, and his actions speak pretty loud. So we've got a good core group of guys. Jack Stevens is another guy that doesn't say a whole lot, but is playing both sides of the ball, not coming out, playing really physical and tough. So when you've got those guys on your team, that's kind of how our team is just in general. Tough, hard nosed, and play hard.
Well, that's one of the points I was kind of trying to make with the senior leadership. Is it's not running for 200 yards or making 30 tackles. It's being the guy to speak up in practice when everybody's goofing off and saying, hey, guys, we need to get this together. We need to get better today.
Yeah, the Tuesday before the Union County game was not good. And, that was kind of a turning point last week. Elijah Shaheen kind of stepped up and said, was a little bit more vocal than he's been, and followed it up with his actions too. So if we'll continue to get those types of things, I think we're going to be a difficult team to beat.
Another kid you can add to that mix is Gavin Board. I know, and the thing that really stinks for Gavin is he probably has had a good off season as anybody we had. He didn't miss in the weight room. He was, Gavin's not a real vocal kid, but he's a hard-working kid. He just shows up every day, does everything we ask him to do, and then he's had to miss some early. He's had, just kind of got caught up in some things, and he couldn't get on the field, and it was nothing he had any control over whatsoever. He's getting him back and having, being able to count on him and getting him back in the mix has been really big for our team. And he's not a real vocal kid, but he's the kind of kid that shows up every day, and then he'll suddenly have something to say. Like you'll be talking along, and then Gavin will interject something, and you'll be like, "Hey, that's a really good point, Gavin," or he'll say something and be like, "Yeah, that's right." Just say something he didn't think about, and I think he has proven to himself and earned the respect of his teammates just from his work, his work ethic in the weight room and showing up every day. And we definitely missed him when he wasn't out there. So sometimes he's just, your presence and the respect you gain just by being there and working hard is a big deal too. So.
Well, and that's the kind of thing that filters down because, the juniors, the next senior class sees it, the sophomores see it, the freshmen see it. So if you can always have that strong senior leadership, it just kind of carries over and carries over.
Yeah, and if you look back, to me, that run that kind of started in 12, it was Cole Webster and Tez Civils kind of got that thing rolling because of how good of leaders they were, and that carried over to Sindelar and Jalen's group, and then that carried over to D and that group and Josh Young, and it's just kind of kept going on. And really, to me, I think you can kind of trace that back to 2012.
Yeah, I think anytime when you have success in any program, all those people that come behind it don't want to be the ones to end that success. So I think, once you kind of instill that work ethic in them, everybody just keeps wanting to push forward after that.
Yeah, and that's why when you can make deep runs in the playoffs and get to a state championship game, it gives your program a little life because you can all the kids down to elementary school can say, hey, this is realistic. Caldwell County can go play in the state championship game and have a chance to win it. And, that's the type of program we need to be.
Just to follow it up a little bit, I think it was 2 years ago, maybe. I think it may have been Elijah's sophomore year, but we were transitioning from one drill to another in practice, and he said, Coach, I remember watching Elijah Sindelar play football standing right there on the track, when I was in the, whatever, 5th or 6th grade, whatever year it was. And he's just like, man, he's like, I just can remember thinking, man, that would be fun to be able to go out there and do that. And he's like, I can't believe that, I think at the time you may have been a sophomore, junior. He said, I can't believe that it's here. I've only got 2 or 3 more years doing it. So it definitely does make an impression on those guys. And, sometimes kids don't vocalize it as well as Elijah does. He's a pretty good conversationalist at the least. And, but it does matter, and it matters to see those things, and those guys see those guys have success. That's a big deal.
Well, and Elijah Shaheen is our spotlight athlete this week at yoursportsedge.com. So
yeah.
It works out.
Yeah, and he's I told him he was a good interview. I told him that the main thing is don't give him any bulletin board material. So that's the theme.
Talking this morning with Will Barnes and Jeff Riley. Need to get to another break here on the show. Back with more on Saturday Morning Quarterback after this here on 1580 103.3 WPKY.
Goodwin Insurance Agency and Woodall Agency have great news. Effective January 1st, they have joined forces to provide even more options for all your insurance needs. Together, they provide the best prices and coverage from top-rated insurance companies and insure all lines of insurance. See Tori Hammett or Fred Foltz, or go to insurewithgoodwin.com for more information. Don't pay too much for your insurance. Let them shop for you and save today.
Hey guys, it's Kelly Capps with Farmers Bank. Buying a home can be stressful, and I'm sure you have many questions like what's a good rate? What type of loan is right for me? I'm here to walk you through the process. Whether you're buying your first home, downsizing, or looking to upgrade, Farmers Bank has the options for you. We offer rural housing, VA loans, and so much more. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to give me a call, or you can apply online at yournxtbank.com. Farmers Bank and Trust Company. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
As a community-owned enterprise, the Princeton Electric Plant Board provides services to the people in the Princeton area. One of the services they provide is to make sure the lights are on over our fields and courts for our Caldwell County Tigers. From everyone at the Princeton Electric Plant Board, good luck to all the Caldwell County Tigers and hopes for a safe season. And a big electric roar to their Tigers, Preston Burrell, Addie Vincent, and Lily Horde.
It's time again. Spin the Wheel of Furniture at Herb Hayes Furniture and Mattress in Hopkinsville. Every spin wins bigger discounts on living room, dining room, bedroom, kids furniture, and so much more. Also with your spin, we offer no interest for 12 months. Hurry though, it is for a limited time only. Spin the Wheel of Furniture and win. Only at Herb Hayes Furniture and Mattress, Fort Campbell Boulevard, Hopkinsville. Herb Hayes Furniture and Mattress in Hopkinsville. It is worth the drive.
More than just social media posts, coverage of your team with a stylish new look and a great new free app, which you need to download or update to now. Get the story with pictures and video like nowhere else. Download now from the crew you know as the area sports leader at yoursportsedge.com. Nowhere else.
We are the champions.
New app, new look, the gold standard. Yoursportsedge.com.
We are the champions.
Download now. Yoursportsedge.com.
Shop local first. Spend your money where your heart is.
Investing in your local community by supporting local makes a big difference.
When you purchase goods and services from a locally owned company, 68% of that money stays right in our local community.
When you purchase goods and services from a nationally owned out-of-town company, only 43% of that money stays home.
We can make them come back better than the setback.
Let's make sure we support local businesses as they continue to support our local nonprofit organizations and ball teams.
They live, work, and worship right where you do. They've always been there for us. Now, let's be there for them.
We're convinced that with your help, 2021 will be the greatest comeback of all time.
It all starts with supporting local and, of course, being positive and kind.
Thanks for being a part of the greatest comeback of all time. You are making a difference for our local businesses.
Chick-fil-A of Hopkinsville wants to salute the outstanding achievements of our area student athlete. Each week, a student athlete will be chosen based on academics, athletics, and achievements. Watch for the Chick-fil-A AAA Young Person of the Week at yoursportsedge.com. Academics, athletics, and achievements. The Chick-fil-A AAA Young Person of the Week at yoursportsedge.com.
The Saturday Morning Quarterback Show continues on WPKY. Here's your host, Todd Griffin.
Once again, no game last night for the Caldwell County Tigers. Tigers were scheduled to play their first district game of the season down at Ballard Memorial, but that game was called off. Tigers now looking ahead to Mayfield next week out here at Tiger Stadium. And looking at the scoreboard from last night, Mayfield with a pretty easy game over at Fort Campbell, winning that one 55-0. I think Mayfield scored on like their first 3 plays of the game. So, Will, that's going to be a pretty strong Mayfield team coming in here next week.
Yeah, absolutely. And, they didn't have the year that they're used to down there last year. And
so they brought everybody back.
Well, and I'm sure they've been reminded of that this offseason. And, to me, Coach Morris is definitely in the conversation as one of the best coaches in Kentucky. So they've got a good staff. They'll do, it'll be really, really a tough challenge for us. But, we need to come out and have a good week of practice and play our game and see how it falls.
An interesting score from last night, Murray over Christian County 56-32. So Murray maybe struggled a little bit earlier in the season, but seems to be kind of finding their way now as well.
Yeah, when I watched them against Union County, offensively, they moved the ball really well against Union County, but had a couple of things where it just kind of looked like things weren't clicking. And to be the, third, fourth game of the year with a new offense that the guy didn't get there, I don't think he started till after the dead period. So those things are going to get lined out. They're going to be, by the time we play them, they'll be really, be a lot better. And they've got some good players back, and that'll be a difficult game.
Well, a game I thought would be really tight last night ended up not being so close. Union County beat Crittenden County 50-22 in a game that had a couple of teams that we've seen already.
Yeah, I think it was a running clock in the first half, and that did kind of surprise me. But Union has that capability, just with their skill, and if they get some momentum, they can really ride that. And Union's got a good team. Crittenden's going to be fine. They're gonna be fine in their district, and they're gonna be able to make a run. They don't need to panic or anything. It's Union County's got a good team.
Trigg County with a win over Fulton County last night, 54-16, and the Wildcats are starting to put up some offensive numbers this year.
Yeah. Like I said, I haven't seen them play, but just kind of looking at scores, they played Murray tight, 28-20, and I think there was a couple of plays that kind of could have swung it the other way in that game. So, they're going to be improved. They've got a new coach over there, Coach Ezel. Don't know him, talked to him a couple of times, but seems like a really nice guy. And obviously they're playing some pretty good football over there.
Another score that kind of surprised me last night: Logan County 13, Hopkinsville 12.
Yeah, that did surprise me too, and I don't know. It'd be interesting to kind of see how that game went, but
I think Logan County scored pretty late to pull that one out.
I did see that, and I saw Hoptown had a couple of field goal tries maybe to try to win it, but didn't get it. I think they'll be fine too. Once the district rolls around, they kind of did the same thing last year, dropped a couple of district games, and ended up playing in the semifinals. They'll have a chance to do that too again.
Callaway County beat Madisonville 41-35. I'm sure that was a good game, and Madisonville I thought might get them in that one, but again this year you just don't know who everybody had eligible each game, so it's kind of hard to look at those scores and read a whole lot into it sometimes.
Yeah, I think kind of going back to the Christian County game, I think Christian County's got at least one of their best players is out, and maybe a couple others. So, like you said, you any year, it does high school, college, NFL, whatever sport you're looking at, you can't compare scores because you have no idea. It's all a matchup deal, and then this year with COVID on top of it, you don't know who's available, and comparing scores is just a waste of time, honestly.
Well, I was actually thinking this last night watching Trigg County play Fulton County, that Trigg County's offense this year looks more like Caldwell County than Caldwell County's offense does.
That may be true. So, they're definitely scoring some points.
But you guys have kind of figured some things out that you do well, though. Like I said, you've gotten better. It's just not the traditional look we've seen from Caldwell County for the last 15 years.
Yeah, it's our team's just a little bit different, and we've had to adjust some things, and that's one thing that with not playing this week, usually during the bye week, it's late in the season, so you've got all kinds of data to look at. I was able to do that this week and look at formations and what concepts are best out of certain formations. So there's some things that we've been doing the last couple of games we're not very good at. So, if I'm a good coach, we probably don't need to be doing those things. And the things we are doing good, we need to do more of and kind of build off of and add a wrinkle here and there. So that was a good thing that came out of this week.
Yeah, but Jeff, it's always good to kind of adjust to your talent, right? And then put those kids in the best situation to do what they do well.
Oh yeah, and I think probably if you look at this year, especially offensively, what Coach Barnes has done is he kind of changed his philosophy. I know he doesn't necessarily want to be too tight and hand the ball off 30 times a game if he has the quarterback in him wants to throw it a bunch, but he's a coach beyond his years, and he's like, well, this is what we have, and let's figure it out. And I think you've seen it as we've gotten our kids back and gotten better. The offense has come along and gotten better. And, when we get some guys up front playing well and we get Logan going downhill and Jack can make a couple of throws for us, it may not be, 56 points, but we're putting some points up now, and we've kind of found our identity a little bit. And I think you're seeing that with us, and I think you're seeing that with a lot of other teams too. I think you're seeing that with, talking about Trigg County and Murray. I think they're kind of figuring it out. And I went and watched Murray play, and they're running triple option football. They're running, they've got, dive in the A gap, dive in the B gap. Quarterback gets to the edge, he pitches it, he catches it. They're doing some of those stuff that we don't see anybody else do, and they're getting better at it. So I don't know that they have some talented kids on the field. They've got some speed at their what we call halfback, or what they're playing at wings, and they're going to be a tough out again. And it's kind of coming together a little bit. And I think COVID definitely slowed it down last year, but this year with, like you said, you just don't know who's in and who's available for who, and that's just going to be something that's a reality we all have to deal with from now on. But I've been very impressed with kind of the way our kids have kind of bought into the things that we're doing a little bit differently, and that's been really good for us, I think. And it's playing into Jack's strength is a big deal too, because Jack's kind of a hard-nosed, downhill tough kid, and then getting him some confidence throwing the ball, and that's coming along, and hopefully that'll just continue to get better.
Well, I think everybody would like to have a team that gave up 0 points and scored 60 a game, but it's tough to make that work, right?
Yeah, well,
Yeah. Well,
we need a little help there.
I will say offensively, what we've done this year is going to make us better going forward too, because it's made me a better coach. It's made me look at things a little bit different, which is a good thing. And, we've used some tight ends. We've used some unbalanced, some things that, it's a little old school, but, kind of morphed it into what we do offensively. So it's actually been pretty fun to kind of put together, and it'll make us better going forward too.
Mayfield coming up next week for the Tigers out here at Tiger Stadium. Kickoff at 7 o'clock. Guys, thanks for coming in on the off week and talking football this morning.
Yeah, thanks, Todd.
Thank you.
That is Will Barnes and Jeff Riley, Caldwell County football coaches. Again, no game for the Tigers last night. The game at Ballard Memorial was canceled, but the Tigers will be back in action next week, next Friday. Tiger Stadium, Mayfield coming to town for a big district game. That's going to wrap us up on Saturday Morning Quarterback for this week. Thanks for joining us here on 1580, 103.3 WPKY.
You've been listening to the Saturday Morning Quarterback Show with your host, Todd Griffin. For high school sports news from across the area, go to yoursportsedge.com.
WPKY Princeton.